Thank you all. How's everyone doing? I'm looking forward to sharing some information about the institution with you. I hope that you've had a good day. Look forward to, again, sharing a bit of information about the college with each of you. I can't thank you for being here. Let me begin by thanking Ms. Bel Castruita for all her work on the presentation. The presentation is outstanding. Let me also be thankful that I'm not wearing the suit that Belle has folks taking pictures with my cutout over there. That's a blue suit. This one's black. So fortunate there. Let me jump right in. So I'm going to begin with some updates from my office with regards to finance and administration. Vice President Flores is now, he's no longer interim, he is the vice president, went through a search process, he did fantastic. In addition, he turned around and did a search process as well, and Ms. Ana Zuniga is now the associate vice president, and I obviously want to acknowledge Ms. Milena Field, who is our interim associate vice president for HR management and compliance. So just a couple of updates with regards to movement that's happened at the institution. Ms. Shaughnessy still works for us part-time, in between being in France and in Hawaii. So certainly pleased that she's agreed to work for us part-time, but obviously understand her priorities of being in either France or Hawaii. Let me see, let me go back. That went to, let me also welcome Mr. Jesus Mendes, one of my bosses. Mr. Mendes was appointed to the board. Ms. Sanchez is obviously the county attorney. She won that election. Ms. Bernard chose to step down from that role early. The commissioners appointed Ms. Sanchez into the role. As such, legal counsel indicated that she had to step off her role as a board of trustee. The board advertised, they went through applications, turned around and appointed Mr. Mendes onto the board. He was appointed in June, so he's now been on the board a couple of months. He has been a vice president of Common Sense Investment Group for about 17 years, been very active with the Parent Teacher Association, with EPISD, and then he's been involved, he's been a business owner for the last 33 years. So looking forward to getting to know him better. But he is my newest boss. Certainly appreciate his willingness to step up and serve our community. I want to start with Dr. Amaya and his team in student enrollment services and the great work that they continue to do. So here's enrollment. So I happen to take a snapshot of enrollment when it was exactly the same as last fall. So I dare you all to get on the dashboard and try to do that. But it was exactly the same. So enrollment is we're right about flat for the fall semester. However, I do want to emphasize a couple of things with regards to enrollment. You can see that female enrollment has started to rebound. We saw female enrollment take significant hits during the pandemic. Unfortunately, society places the burden of child care or elderly care primarily on women. And so we saw that impact for enrollment, but they have now started to bounce back. Male enrollment, additionally, has bounced back primarily in the career technical education. It is slightly down in this particular slide, but it continues. By the way, enrollment's never a static piece. We have the mini-mesters that I'll touch on shortly, but those continue to add enrollment. I do want to also emphasize that 32%, a little over 32% of our students are now full-time students versus about 67% that are part-time. This is up from last fall over 3 percentage points. In addition, we saw an increase of 12% in Pell Grants this fall. So a lot of kudos to our team for the significant effort on enrollment. We want to make sure that we continue to be as accessible to our community as we possibly can. Part of that is through Operation College Bound. Again, cannot thank Dr. Maya and the entire student enrollment services. This, by the way, is a college-wide event. We had 20 Operation College Bound events that were held from March through May. We enrolled students for fall as well as summer. During this period of time, you see all of the different areas that were involved in this, from faculty to testing services to our Texas mentors. Again, an opportunity for us to go out into the community and let students know we don't need you to come to us. We're willing to come to you to help you close the deal. So certainly excited about the great progress that was done here. It culminated with El Paso EPCC Tejano Day. This was held at the Mission Campus. This particular round, it was on May the 4th. Of course, you see it was a Star Wars theme, May the 4th be with you. So obviously we held that. We had over 200 RSVPs. This is after College Bound. After all the events, we provide one more opportunity for any student that didn't get the chance to come in, and we'll help them from admissions all the way through enrollment, including financial aid in a one-stop shop method. Again, we had 273 total attendees, a great day. I made sure to head out there. It was well done, and certainly appreciate all of the effort. Our calling campaign in our call center, Ms. Ojeda and her team continue to do a great job. You see that they reached over 19,000 students through the calling campaign. In addition, we obviously have outbound messaging through text messaging. We did 139 different campaigns. We were able to send over 325,000 messages to our students. Again, this is an opportunity for us to utilize technology to be able to get to our students as quickly as we possibly can, and to prompt them to do the things they need to do to ensure their enrollment in their process. So the new FAFSA, it was supposed to simplify the process. And as someone who has an 18-year-old recent high school graduate who for high school graduation requirements had to do the FAFSA, it was anything but simple. Poor Ms. Lopez got calls directly from me asking for assistance on how I could get through this FAFSA, and I work in higher ed, as each of you do. It was not a simple process, unfortunately, and the federal government has had some significant issues with the rollout of the new FAFSA. I cannot thank Ms. Lopez and her team enough for the great work that they've done. So I checked the data this morning. We have actually awarded $24.4 million of Pell this fall. So since we put this slide together, we've added $1.1 million additional dollars of Pell. We saw increases in our financial aid processing as well as Pell. So kudos to Ms. Lopez and the entire financial aid team for the great job that they did. I'm sure you read the stories that we saw in our community. There were some significant hurdles to overcome. Our team was able to get through those, and so cannot thank them enough for the great work that they've done. Our police department and our police officers, they continue to train for all situations. And unfortunately, in today's society, we know that that includes active shooter training. And so we had a couple of our officers that went through active shooter training, and they are now sharing that training with the rest of the police department. Again, this is important that we're always prepared for the unexpected, that we're always prepared to protect our community. Cannot thank our officers, chief, and everyone else involved with security on our campuses for doing a great job with that. And again, ensuring that we're prepared for the unexpected. I want to highlight Mr. Padilla and his efforts to ensure that El Paso Community College is recognized as a storm-ready partner. We never know what the weather is going to do, and so we want to make sure that we're prepared. We partner with the National Weather Service. They recognized us as a storm-ready partner. Certainly thrilled that we were able to achieve this recognition, and that we'll always be prepared as we possibly can be. Our Student Government Association, as well as Campus Life, they continue to do great work, and they do a great job of serving their respective constituents. The SGA elections were in April. You see a significant increase in the number of votes. We're certainly pleased with that. There were 13 elected and or appointed members, and they continue to grow leadership and membership within that. They earned second place for the scrapbook at the Texas Junior College Student Government Association. In addition, the college will be the host college for the School of Texas Junior College Student Government Region 1 Convention that will be held this academic year. So certainly pleased with the good work. They were at the last board meeting, introduced themselves to the board, 13 different members of student government. I'm thrilled that our students are taking on leadership roles and representing their constituents so well. The Tejano Mercado serves as the college's food pantry. And again, the higher education has shifted, thank God. So, almost 40 years ago, I was a freshman in college. In my first semester, I lost 20 pounds, not because I was trying to lose weight, but because we forgot to budget for food. And I wasn't going to call home to ask for additional resources. But we understand that you can't learn if you're hungry. And I want to give Dr. Amaya and his team a lot of credit for establishing the Tejano Mercado. We hosted our first ever grocery pickup event on the 9th of July. Our goal was 150 guests. We had 317 that picked up groceries. It is an obvious need in our community, and we will continue to do our best to meet that need. From July 1st through August 9th, we received almost 470 pounds of non-perishable food, 545 items. Our theater club was the biggest donor, certainly appreciate that. And then a part-time faculty member, Isaac Saniceros, from philosophy, had the most total donations of anyone. So we will continue to do this as we understand that our students need this resources. And so we'll continue to provide those opportunities for our students. The Teal Bash. This was a wonderful event that was held. We had 507 attendees at the Valle Verde campus. We had about 340 students that attended, as well as family members, over 100 family members and companions. We had faculty and staff, as well as community members. Wonderful event. Again, we outreached and utilized technology to help us with this via text messages, email, as well as snail mail. We used postcards to remind students of this. So great event, warm. It was a warm event, but it was a great event that we held at the Valle Verde campus. Testing services continues to provide the needs for our community. We're certainly pleased with that. EPCC is the #1 test center that is administering GED. We're double the next highest test center, which is UTRGV down in South Texas. Over 2,600 GED exams that we provided to this community, which is wonderful, and we need to continue to do that. So certainly pleased with the great work that we continue to do. Let's talk a little bit about Project Hire. So Project Hire, the college is committed to providing opportunities for all learners, regardless of their challenges. And so Project Hire moved forward with a work-based learning program. We have a 10-week paid internship, and 7 of our graduates from Project Hire were selected from the first 10 cohorts to participate. You see they range from a couple of welding certificate students all the way through a machinist. Again, we want to make sure that we're providing opportunities to all residents of El Paso and Hudspeth County, and certainly pleased to do this. Let's talk a little bit about Dr. Smith and his team and the great work that instruction and workforce education continues to move forward. Tomorrow is a busy day for several of us, and this will be part of what we'll be celebrating. We'll have our 2nd annual full professor rank celebration. We have 25 professors who have reached that rank of full professor. We held our first one last year. Dr. Smith and I had talked about it before the pandemic. The pandemic happened, and so we were focused on other things for a period of time. But last year we were able to move forward with recognizing our first set of full professors from the history of the institution. This is the 2nd annual. We'll be hosting and celebrating 25 professors that will have reached this professor rank. So certainly looking forward to that. In addition, Opportunity High School Diploma. So we received a $400,000 grant from the coordinating board to partner with the Workforce Commission's Tri-Agency Workforce Council. We're working with Jobs for the Future, and we're trying to move forward, and we're designing an Opportunity High School. These are for students that are at the college that don't have a high school diploma. And so we can work with them to both award them either their level 1 certificate or an associate's degree plus their high school diploma simultaneously. Again, we're not in competition with the ISDs by any means. These are students that are already with us who, for whatever reason, have not been able to achieve their high school diploma. And so we're working on this. You see the other design partners, Alamo Colleges, Austin, Dallas, and San Jac, all of us working on this, and we're certainly excited about this opportunity for our community. In addition, here's the requirements and timeline for it. Again, we are a design partner. We're hopeful that we'll be an implementation partner as well. Students have to be 18 years of age or older and not have a high school diploma. They have to be career and technical education, enrolled in a career or technical education program or a competency-based diploma program. And then you see the 5 core program competencies. You also see the timeline. So it'll start this fall, and so we're hopeful that in December of 26 that we'll be able to submit our report to the coordinating board and go from there. And by that time, not only award these students degrees and certificates, our competency-based programs, but also award them a high school diploma simultaneously. The coordinating board, the old 60 by 30 Texas strategic plan is now known as Building a Talent Strong Texas. The college is very much in line with this. This is obviously emphasizing credentials of values, degrees, certificates, as well as industry certification, OSAs or Occupational Skills Awards, ICLCs, et cetera, which are institutional courses leading to credentials. These are tied to our outcomes-based model. And so we're continue to explore the programs that we can offer that are needed in our community, number one. Number two, that our students want to enroll in. So what we will not do is we will not offer programs that don't lead to living wage or that our students are not interested in. So here are some of the new priority programs that Dr. Smith and the deans, as well as our faculty, are exploring. Everything from aerospace and advanced manufacturing, the C means on the credit side, to data analytics, also a credit program, logistics and supply chain management, which are both credit and continuing education, as well as welding. So these are the kinds of programs that we're exploring, that we're trying to move forward and as quickly as we can to both meet the needs of our respective community and also receive the reward from the state for meeting those respective needs. I want to highlight Professor Nájera as well as Dr. Servin. The Homeland Security and National Science Agency recognized the college for our cybersecurity educational pathways. It's being designated as a center for academic excellence in cyber defense. These are focused on producing competitive graduates ready for the workforce. We're looking at national research and funding opportunities, as well as fostering exceptional collaborations with other CAEs across the nation. So I want to thank both Professor Nájera as well as Dr. Servin for moving forward with this. Dean Villalobos and the team at Mission, the Mission campus, we were looking for 8-week, this has been a long-term initiative at some of the small and medium-sized colleges, primarily that have one campus. It was harder at at what the state considers us as an extra large college to be able to move forward. Dr. Smith and I had determined that we needed to go and see which campus wished to do it. Initially, we had no takers. We discussed it again a year later, and the Mission campus decided to jump forward with this and be the 8-week campus project. We started it as a pilot, planned it for a year. In the fall of 23, we saw a 15% increase in enrollment in the fall of 23. The success rates are 81% in the combined between Minimester 1 and 2. The traditional success rates for us as a campus are at about 72%. So statistically significant increase. In the spring, we saw an actual increase from fall to spring enrollment, about 1,630 students, which is a 22% increase compared to the previous spring. And again, you see the success rates, 82% combined success rates. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention that this fall, they're up another 21%. This fall, the Mission campus. So this fall, compared to 2 years ago, that campus is up 38% in enrollment. It's obviously that students are enjoying this. They can take 1 to 2 classes at a time. They can, by the end of the fall semester, they've taken 12 hours and successfully completed those. It allows them to really focus on a smaller number of subject areas for a shorter period of time, and their success rates are very promising. So kudos to Dean Villalobos and his team at Mission. We are going to have a soft launch, or we've had a soft launch because we started it this fall, for the EPCC UTEP Engineering Academy. Certainly excited. UTEP, as you know, is our #1 partner. We're always going to do everything we can to partner well with UTEP. This is something Dr. Wilson and I discussed for a period of time. We were able to move forward with it. Dr. Escamilla and the team has really moved this forward. We have 13 engineering students that began this fall. 8 of them in mechanical engineering, a couple in aerospace, and then you see one in industrial, electrical, as well as computer science. We will have a press conference to let the media know about our engineering academy. We're calling it a soft launch only because we moved so quickly to move this forward. We expect this to continue to gain speed and to be able to get students to enroll in this as quickly as possible and help facilitate their success as they move forward in engineering programs. Dr. Guerrero and his team, tremendous success with our nursing students. So we have this is our 50th year for our nursing program. It was established in 1972. Our first graduating class was in 1975. This year will be in 2025. That'll be 50 years. We are the oldest nursing program in the El Paso area, and you see the success rates of our respective nursing programs. Our ADN program in the second quarter had a 98.1% success rate. 105 out of the 107 students successfully passed their NCLEX exam. Our vocational students, 96% in 2023, 94% in 2024. So certainly excited that we're able to help meet the needs of our respective community by producing highly qualified nurses to go out into the field and serve us all. In addition, Dr. Hajar and her team and all of our allied health faculty, these are our health career technical education pass rates for those respective programs. Tremendous job. You see from dental hygiene at 100% all the way through medical imaging at 90%. By the way, these are all have separate accreditations. We have to ensure that our students are getting through these programs, that they're able to pass these exams to be able to maintain our accreditation with each of those respective areas. They do a phenomenal job, obviously, and cannot thank them enough. Dean Badillo and the dual credit and early college high school team, this continues to be an exploding part of the institution. We're certainly excited about it. It's obviously one that is part of House Bill 8 as well. We were obviously working on this long before House Bill 8 was passed because we know it serves our community well. But you see, these are the early college high school enrollments, nearly 7,000 students. Those early college high school students graduate, almost 2/3 of them, before they graduate from high school. So tremendous outcomes. Their GPAs are 3.7. These are their college GPAs versus 2.7. They're twice as likely to graduate from the college in 3 years versus those students who do not take any dual credit. So again, and we're just short of 7,000 students that have received associate's degrees before they graduate from high school. We will produce our over 7,000 this December. Again, a tremendous program that serves our community and serves it well. We opened, EPCC Cares opened its doors in the summer of 2023. Dr. Mitchell and her team, I'd like to highlight Dr. Castillo-Atar, Ms. Ornelas, as well as Ms. Mireles. Again, we are moving forward with this. This was a project that we had learned about in other communities, and I tasked and asked Dr. Mitchell and Dr. Smith if they could roll this out for our community. They not only have, but they've done a tremendous job with it. We're currently assessing and providing students seeking services with referrals to our community partners. We know that we can't be everything to everyone, but we can help students get to the help they need within the community. Again, we assist in crisis intervention. We're taking and assessing referrals. We're sharing information with our faculty and staff on all of these services as well. So kudos and thank you, Dr. Mitchell, for a great job with this. Our Veteran Resources Center, again, this is an area that Dr. Mitchell took over. The Valle Verde Resource Center grand opening is expected late this term. The Transmountain Resource Lounge relocation and renovation is moving forward. Veterans Voices is moving forward, I know, because that's a Humanity Texas sponsored event, and I know because I happen to be on the Humanity Texas board, and so I know that that is moving forward as we speak. So we're certainly excited to be a part of that. We want to make sure that we serve our men and women who have served us so well in uniform. We want to serve them just as well as they are veterans in our community. Also want to highlight Mr. Dwyer, who is continuing to do a great job in serving these students. Our first-year experience centers, our first-year advising, continue to move forward. Ms. Sandra Lujan and all of the first-year experience team do a tremendous job. You see pictures of those first-year experiences at each of the campuses. You see it at Northwest, Mission, a couple of them at Valle Verde. The Rio Grande and Transmountain centers are coming soon. We expect those to open shortly. And here, the centers are wonderful. They're fantastic. But here's the real reason why we continue to move forward with our first year experience. I know that's hard to read, but if you look at each of those respective areas, retention, those students that go through the first year experience have a plus 11 percentage point increase. Persistence is 14% increase. Academic standing, 9%. Course completion rate is 9%, and then graduation rates is at 3%. Each of them, each metric being statistically significant increase. So kudos for the great work that we continue to do with our students as they come in. We want to make sure they start off on the right foot and that they are able to be successful as first-year students. Our EPCC libraries chat services, it's a phenomenal initiative. I'm certainly excited about it. It's available 24/7, including the intersessions, the breaks, the weekends, and holidays. Again, this is fantastic that we're available to our students. Want to make sure that we continue to do that. We've responded to almost 700 reference questions. Again, always being available to the students when they need us. Our family-friendly spaces, Ms. Lucia Rodriguez and the family-friendly task force continue to do a great job showing us what the needs are. The college continues to move forward and being able to provide those spaces as the budget allows us to, but we're thrilled with it. You see all the family-friendly spaces at each of the respective campuses. You see what the mission and what the services are. We offer a safe and convenient space for parents and their children. We want to make sure that the community feels comfortable bringing children onto campus. I know higher ed at one point, oh no, you can't have, so we're creating spaces to be able to have for our children, to be available to them so that they can continue their education while still ensuring that we're family friendly to all of our community. Dr. Maya and Dr. Mitchell, again, continuing to prepare for the unexpected. Our behavior intervention team, our BIT team, is something that's incredibly important. These all started after Virginia Tech. We continue to accept referrals for behavioral concerns involving students as well as staff. So they meet. None of us see the minutes. None of us know about that unless it's absolutely necessary for us to know about that. And it's again, developing individualized plans to prevent the escalation of such behavior. They have the website. They hold bi-weekly meetings. They are the two co-leads for this. Certainly thrilled and pleased that we've been able to move forward with this. Dr. Escamilla and her team, the Bridges to the Baccalaureate grant, this is over 30 years that we've had this grant. It is a tremendous opportunity for the students of our community. It was a 2024 Bellwether Legacy finalist. To date, we've had almost 64% of the participants who have received a baccalaureate degree. In addition, 52% of those that receive baccalaureate degrees go on to earn post-baccalaureate, either master's, doctoral, medical, or other professional degrees. The transfer rate for the Bridges students is over 71% versus the traditional transfer rate at just under 25%. A tremendous program, obviously something that continues to work well and that we continue to make better and better. In addition, our STEM Fuerte pathway program, again, Dr. Escamilla and her team, this was made possible through over $1 million grant from the Department of Education, HSI. STEM Fuerte aims to grow student success, completion, and transfer in STEM education. And we've had over 225 students that have gone through the program so far. Again, thrilled with the success. Again, a wonderful partnership between the college as well as UTEP. We also held our first STEAM open house. It was held on March the 5th. We had over 100 students and their families in attendance. Again, just ensuring that we provide opportunities for all of our learners to be engaged on the respective campus. We know that that engagement is key to facilitating their success. I want to recognize Ms. Margie Nelson Rodriguez and our Humanities Collaborative. This is a grant through the Mellon Foundation. This was initially a $2.1 million grant between, again, the college and the university. The college's portion was about $650,000 in that first grant. The grant was renewed from 22 to 25 at a higher rate, about $2.4 million, and about $950,000 coming directly to the college. Certainly excited about this. Again, provides an opportunity for students to study the humanities, to be engaged, to be able to move forward from the college into the university. The True Grants, Texas Reskilling and Upskilling Through Education. The college received a $147,000 grant. Dr. Hajar and her team are moving this forward. You can see that it's supporting short-term credential programs and initiatives in high-demand occupations. You see all the different areas from EKGs all the way through looking at data analytics. Again, we will continue to apply for these as we see our community needs these particular areas. And so cannot thank Dr. Hajar and her faculty enough for moving forward with that. Dean Terry Mann, I want to thank her for the great work. Fort Bliss, our MOU is fully executed. We were able to get that done in August of this year. So I signed it, as well as the U.S. Army Garrison Commander, Gallagher, and that we continue to move this forward gives us an opportunity to provide educational opportunities to members of the military while they're still enrolled. And we will continue to do that. Again, we want to make sure as they're here in El Paso that we're able to serve our soldiers well. Ms. Audrey Marufo, our director of the Small Business Development Center, I want to thank her and her team for the great job that they do. You see the results. We served over 625. We had 184 events, over 2,500 participants. And then the most important is the economic impact results. You see the number of businesses as well as the expansions, 367 jobs created, 294 jobs retained. The capital infusion was over $15 million, just short of $16 million, and the sales increases were over $20 million. So again, significant impact, and here to serve the entire community, and so we're certainly pleased with that. Mr. Armendariz and his team, as well as AVP Primozic, all the great work that they do through our Contracts Opportunity Center, 328 clients served, over 2,300 counseling hours, over 2,300 awards received, and the total value of those awards were over $465 million, just short of 10,000 jobs created or retained. Again, an incredible opportunity that we provide to our community. Dr. Penley and her team, let's talk a little bit about the good work that Dr. Penley and her team continue to lead. The campus improvement team's activities, I want to thank Dr. Huerta and the campus improvement team for the great work that they do. The Valle Verde Library, we had new student work and relaxation spaces. Here at the ASC, we were able to get the Employee of the Month their first annual luncheon celebration. You see at the Rio Grande Library, the things that we've done there as well. We'll continue to move forward and to be able to fund these respective initiatives we think that are good for the college, that continue to promote and increase satisfaction within the institution. I want to thank Ms. Frescas and her team for all the great work in institutional planning. 94% of our administrative and student support departments submitted an area plan for 23-24. I know Dr. Penley's working on that other 6%, and we'll make sure that everyone gets those in. And we're working on the 26 through 2030 strategic plan. Again, it's wonderful that we continue to achieve, but we have to document what we achieve, and this is why the planning is so important. Dr. Carol Kay and the IR team, want to thank them for the great work. The Noel Levitt's survey information, here's just a sample of that shows, how far has your college experience met your expectation. 44% of our students indicate better than expected. 50% indicate that we met expectations. You see the comparison within the southern region. Certainly want to continue to improve, but certainly thrilled with the availability and the results that we have achieved to date. You also see the top 5 factors for students coming to us. Availability of financial aid, 86%. It's certainly important. Again, cannot thank Ms. Lopez and her team for making sure that we make that available to students and we help them with that. Cost of tuition, key piece as well. Academic reputation is third. So we're certainly thrilled, want to make sure that we continue to measure how well we're doing, and we're going to tweak what we need to tweak, and we'll continue to get better. Our QEP, it's hard to believe we're in the 3rd year of our QEP. Find your way, connect, discover, and succeed. We've impacted over 7,300 students. We've had career day events. 98% of the survey respondents said it was a good use of their time. 96% said that they learned and it was valuable. Again, want to make sure that we continue to move forward with our QEP. The Tejano Passport Program, also part of that. I want to thank Dr. Andy Wolf and the great work. We have almost tripled the number of event scans from last year. We're more than doubling the number of participants than last year as well. So certainly excited and thrilled that we continue to move these forward. Ms. Rebecca Bell and her team, the Student Success Core team, continues to move forward. Their charge is improving the student experience from start to finish. We changed it up a bit. We identified co-chairs of each of the respective areas. We have one co-chair that is essentially a part of that system, and then one that's from outside of that system for them to be able to lead these. So you see we have entry co-leads, we have progress co-leads, completion, as well as career. So we'll continue to move forward with that. You see each of the respective areas that they're looking at within those co-leads. Our Texas Pathways Action Plan, we continue to move forward with this. Again, as I went through this, I made sure to follow directions. So you can see I'm wearing my name tag, Dr. Penley. We're encouraging us all to wear our name tag so that students can identify if they need us, if they have to come up and ask a question. You see the others: wraparound support services, enhanced areas of study materials, and then a peer review process that was launched this fall. So again, continuing to move forward, continuing to measure the good work that we do, tweak what we need to tweak, institutionalize what we need to institutionalize. I want to talk a little bit about Dr. Moe and the great work that her and her team continue to lead at the institution. So you've heard me tell it often, if we don't tell our story, then someone else will tell the story about us. And so we need to make sure that we always tell our story, and that we tell it from our respective lens. And not only is Dr. Moe, Mr. Heine, and their teams telling our story, they're telling an exceptional story of what we provide for our community. So it shows that the college makes a tremendous impact, from reaching 100,000 degrees and certificates a year and a half early based on the trend analysis. I shared with y'all when I started in 12, we had just awarded our 50,000th degree. The data told me that we would double that by 2025. We doubled it by the fall of 2023. Now the key becomes, how do we do it even faster without ever sacrificing rigor or quality? We will continue to have high expectations for the students that we serve, but we'll continue to provide the support that they need to be successful. In addition, you also see that we know that 72% of all jobs by 2030 will require some post-secondary education or training. That's nationwide. This is Dr. Carnevale's work. Dr. Carnevale announced his retirement from the Center for Education and Workforce at Georgetown University. We know that 63% of those jobs in Texas will require post-secondary education and training. And so we want to make sure that we continue to provide that. You see that we also highlighted our ranking of 5th in the nation based on the New York Times on economic mobility. Again, we want to make sure that we highlight the great work that we do at the institution and that we tell our story. In addition, you see the different campaigns that we've moved forward. We want to make sure that our students know that they belong, that they can achieve their dreams here, and that we help them prepare for their future. We had more than 144 press releases this year. We averaged 12. All of you that weren't awake, you're awake now. Thank you, gentlemen, for getting the lights going, so I can see everyone as well. We averaged more than 12 a month, and we had 99% coverage on those. We were also featured in local media, both in English and Spanish, almost 500 times. Again, we want to make sure that we're telling our story, and we're doing a great job with it. Want to highlight Mr. Elliott and his team. They do a tremendous job. 83% success rate for the grants application that we submit, almost $7.2 million. Of resources that, again, help us serve our community and serve it well. Dr. Gross and her team continue to do a great job with the foundation. Almost $302,000 that was raised in 23-24, about $160,000 in scholarships, about 150 students received those. They've awarded almost $2.1 million of scholarships since 2015. Again, they have a 62% graduation rate for those students that receive scholarships. They average a 3.42 GPA. You can see that of the 1,940 students, 1,501 have graduated, 873 have transferred. So tremendous job with the foundation, Dr. Gross and her team. Speaking of the foundation, tomorrow is their signature event. I hope that many of you will be able to attend. I will be there, look forward to it. It is our fajitas and margaritas. It is the signature fundraising event for the foundation. The 1309 chefs do a tremendous job of their creations. They won't tell us, any of us, what it is, but we look forward to experience it tomorrow. VJ Smith, the foundation board chair, and all of the officers do a tremendous job. It was a sellout event. It has been a sellout. I anticipate that it will be a sellout once again. Look forward to attending that tomorrow. A little bit about Mr. Flores and his team, the great work that finance and administration continues to do. First and foremost, I think we have to start by acknowledging the board. They approved a 4% salary enhancement for all of our employees for 24-25. That occurred on the 7th of August. Again, the board has been very cognizant of inflation. Last year they did a 6% salary enhancement. This year they did a 4%. I remind you, this is in a time when a lot of our colleagues across the city are not experiencing this. Unfortunately, the school districts were not able to move forward with any kind of salary enhancements, and so certainly thrilled and pleased that the board was approved that. We also launched our Student Success Endowment Scholarship Program. I've shared with you all back in 21, I received a cryptic email. I decided to respond to that email, and then about 3 weeks later, we had $30 million wired into our account. This was from Mackenzie Scott. Those are the great emails. I'm looking forward to the next one. But it is a testament to each of you and the great work that you do. It was all based on the success rates that we have serving the student population that we serve for a long period of time. And so the board had an opportunity to really study this because we had the HERF resources, the Higher Education Emergency Relief Fund resources that almost $60 million went directly to students. So we knew that resources, financial resources, were not an issue for students at that time. The board challenged us and asked us to move forward with creating a success endowment fund. We're utilizing the proceeds, so we have the $30 million invested. We're in the process of investing that. We've utilized the interest that we have accumulated. By the way, I'm sure you all saw that the Fed lowered interest rates by 0.5 point, so we won't receive quite as much interest as we have in the past. But we had 486 students that applied, 191 that were awarded, and we'll continue to move forward with the Mackenzie Scott Student Success Endowment Scholarship Fund. So thrilled to have that, to be able to move forward with that. Our budget, very transparent about the budget. We operate about $166.5 million budget. You see the areas that budget comes from. About 44% of the budget, or about $73 million, from property taxes, not because we raise taxes, because our appraisal value has grown in our community. In fact, I will share that our tax rate has continued to fall for the last 5 years. State appropriations, about 26.5% of our budget, and then followed by tuition and fees at about 23.5% of our budget. Those are the revenues that we have at the institution. Here is how we expend those revenues. Again, they total exactly the same amount. You see each of the respective areas, beginning with our faculty instruction. That's almost $58 million, about 34.5% that is directly into faculty. Then you see academic support, et cetera. And again, you also see how we're able to expend these resources based on salaries, as well as supplies, travel, transfers, et cetera. These are our major revenue sources, as well as our enrollment history. You see the teal bar is state appropriations, or the one that's on the furthest outside. You see that it was relatively stable for a long period of time. This chart goes from 2005 all the way through 23-24. Then you see a significant increase in that bar in 23-24. That's the first year of House Bill 8. And it is a funding based on outcomes. So the reason our state appropriations increased is because of the outcomes we're able to produce for our students and for our community. Again, you see the property tax bar continuing to grow, not because in fact, the board has increased taxes 4 times in the last 20 years. They have not touched taxes in the last 6 years, and they didn't do it for this fall either. Also want to touch on human resource development. They celebrated 31 years with their annual staff development retreat. This year it was held in Houston. The topic was bullying and respect in the workplace. Certainly thrilled that we're able to provide these opportunities for our staff, and we will continue to do that. Let's talk a little bit about some of the projects that Mr. Boer and his team continue to lead across the district. You see each of the respective campuses, the Valle Verde campus and the kinds of work that we're doing at that respective campus, the Rio Grande campus, the ASC, again, all of the different areas that we're continuing to renovate. We want to make sure that we're working on deferred maintenance, that we're continuing to renovate where we need, we're continuing to utilize and take care of all of the facilities that we have at the institution. You see at the Transmountain and Mission campus, again, additional upgrades, additional replacements, all the kinds of things that we need to make sure that we do, again, to ensure that our campuses remain as good as possible, that we're able to provide our students with the kinds of facilities that they have an expectation of. Want to welcome Professor Sorella Aguilar, who is going to take over the Leadership Academy. As you all know, Dr. Brown, who led the Leadership Academy for 20 years, retired from the institution, and so Professor Aguilar will now take that over. Certainly excited about her leadership and what we'll be able to do in continuing to ensure that our Leadership Academy provides the kind of professional development opportunities for our faculty, staff, as well as our administrators. Let's talk a little bit about the good work that Mr. Fernandez and his team in information technology continue to lead, continue to move forward at the institution. So I want to talk a little bit about the network for the Rio Grande Nursing Sim Lab. This upgrade supports the lab's advanced simulation and captures technologies, ensuring stable and reliable network connectivity. Again, this was a significant initiative. Want to thank them for moving this forward. In addition, we've had the system domain services upgrade. Again, by upgrading these essential domain services, we are able to improve both the system performance, the reliability, as well as security. We know that there's lots of folks out there. I get emails on a regular basis. I forward them to Mr. Fernandez and his team to ensure that they're not phishing. always, you all need to be careful with it as well. I saw, in fact, Bell was made sure to let me know that an email I received this morning was not a phishing attempt, that it was actually training that I needed to do. So I will make sure I get that done. It was sent out today, which is a wonderful opportunity during professional development for us to be able to take advantage of that time and go through and do those kinds of trainings that we need to do. Our system students multi-factor authentication, again, will continue to move forward with security. This approach is designed to safeguard student accounts, to minimize the risk of unauthorized access, and again, to ensure a secure online environment. We have to. There's too many folks out there that are trying desperately to get into our systems. We have to make sure that they are as safe as we can possibly make them, and we'll continue to move forward with that. Our web online campus maps, want to provide a lot of kudos for being able to launch these. You're able to get in there and go all the way down to the floor plans of our respective departments on each of our respective campuses. So again, we're utilizing technology to be able for students to say, okay, I'm going to be in this classroom. Let me tour the campus without walking onto the campus. So a wonderful opportunity for us to do that. I'm certainly excited about those as well. Our student parent status dashboards. This is incredibly important. You heard me speak to student parents earlier in the presentation. We want to make sure that we're enhancing support for our student parents at the college. Again, we know that we had over 4,000 student parents that were enrolled in the fall of 23. I anticipate that we'll see a number as we continue to move forward in the fall of 24 that will be comparable. Again, we provide them with graduation rates and time to degree statistics, visualizations of financial support, academic performance trends, as well as retention rates, so that they can monitor the success of themselves and be able to move forward with that. Again, a wonderful feature that we've been able to provide to our students. In addition to ensuring that our facilities are up to speed, we're continuing to ensure that our technology is up to speed. Mr. Fernandez and his team replaced over 900 PCs and monitors district-wide in our computer labs. We distributed 317 hotspots to students, 917 laptops to students. We helped over 33,000 students at the 8 computer labs during the spring of 24 and the summer of 24. Again, you also see all of the Media Services Center upgrades. These gentlemen that are handling my presentation to you all today, they also do all of this great work. Cannot thank them enough for the great work that they do. But we have to make sure that we're able to provide our students with state-of-the-art technology as well as state-of-the-art facilities, and we're continuing to do that. Again, EPCC TV does a tremendous job, Mr. Lara and his team. You see all the 10 current productions. In addition, the new program, Beliefs in the Borderland. This one I have to watch myself. This captivating series delves into diverse spiritual landscapes found at the intersection of cultures and traditions. So I'd encourage you to look at these. Again, you see all of the different programs that they provide. So the legislature, it feels like this every time. We just finished with the legislative session, and even though they're 2 years apart, our state representatives and our state delegation meet in Austin for 140 days every odd year, and they're getting ready to do so again in January of 25. So I'll remind you some key components of House Bill 8. This is a complete redo of the funding mechanism within the state. They're funding outcomes. They're looking at affordability for students and investments in college capacity. There will be opportunity for us to testify on how House Bill 8 is performing and how it's working. I'd remind you that it was a 23% increase for the community college sector. Really the first one in more than 20 years. You see that one in 2008 and 9. That was the Obama era funds. And that was after the recession of 2009. We actually received those funds in 2011. So they were supposed to supplement the budget, not supplant the budget. They ended up supplanting the budget, but this past legislative session in 23, we saw a 23% increase for the community college sector. So certainly pleased with that. Again, I'd remind you, 95% of that funding is performance-based. So well over $1.1 billion of that is performance-based. The base tier, which EPCC will never qualify for the base tier, so for us, we're on a 100% performance-based funding system. Those components are the FAST program, financial aid for swift transfer, shared services, performance based on the number of outcomes that we produce, base tier, and then the Community College Standing Advisory Committee. I chair that committee and will chair it through 2026. I'll remind you a little bit about what we're looking at. It's the Credential of Value Premium. This is going to be awarded based on the student, a positive return on the investment for the student before the target year. So theoretically, it takes a student 150% of the time to get through. So 3 years for the 2-year associate's degree. What the coordinating board has done is they've actually measured how long it takes for a student in nursing to be able to recover the cost. By the way, the student in nursing, it's 2.1 years. So they get through the program, and in about 1.2 months, they've now met that requirement. But every program is different. So if we get a student to that before they meet that premium, then the college will receive an additional award for that. The fundable outcomes, again, we're looking at the Texas Opportunity High School. Again, we're part of that design. We're hopeful to be a part of that implementation as well. The third-party credentials through ACE, continuing to move forward with those also. Also the state high-demand fields. So the state as a whole has those top 10 programs, the growing programs, and then you'll also have the top 5 that are regionally. We can also choose to advocate to say, you know, we would like this to be an essential program that we see in our community, that we can lobby or advocate with the coordinating board to include those. And then we also have incentive for each of these areas, including adult learners. So as we go into the 89th legislative session, what are we looking at? So this coming session is going to be even more important to ensure that we're able to maintain House Bill 8 in the way it was supposed to. And then there's tweaks that we need to make. We're moving so fast. House Bill 8 was passed in May, at the end of May. The governor signed it in June of 2023. We put it into effect September 1 of 2023. And we realized that we missed some things. And so House Bill 8 transfer. So we're making sure that we're allowing transfer outcome to count for students that are attending private universities and colleges in the state of Texas, or the ICUT, the Independent Colleges and Universities of Texas. So Baylor, the students in McLennan Community College in Waco, their primary transfer partner is Baylor. Currently, they don't receive credit for students that transfer to Baylor. So we want to make sure that we correct that, and so we'll go forward with that. There's some data collection that we're trying to get done. Want to make sure that we simplify that, and that we make sure that those are available. There's some clarity. I'm very clear on FAST, and our institution's very clear, but some of our colleagues are not as clear, and so they want some clarity on those no-cost areas. And then we're looking at expanding workforce education amongst the community colleges. That is what we're focused on for this legislative session. There'll be other things that will pop up. I will make sure to inform the entire college community of those areas that pop up. And our delegation knows I've already shared our legislative agenda with each of our delegation, save Representative Moody. We're scheduling him shortly. But we've gone through this and explained what we're focused on. On behalf of the board, cannot thank you all enough for the great work that you do every single day. The dedication that you have for the work that you do, facilitating the success of our students, is tremendous. Certainly understand it, certainly respect it, as does the board. So cannot thank you enough on behalf of the Board of Trustees. I'd ask you to remind each of you, Professional Development Day for the spring is on February the 6th. You don't have to listen to me that day, but you'll have professional development with your respective divisions and your departments. Look forward to you doing that. And again, I cannot thank you enough for your time and attention and for the great work that you do on a daily basis. Thank you all. Have a great fall semester.